This is the Tuesday, November 15th meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Commissioners. My name is Deb Shore, serving as chair this year. To my left, Christy Yoakum, our vice chair. On the other end of the dais, fellow commissioners Roma Amundsen and Sean Flowerday. If you'd please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Clerk, if you'd begin the agenda, please.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available upon request. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on November 8th, 2022.
I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
Comments or corrections? Call a roll.
Amundsen?
Yes.
Yoakum?
Yes.
Flowerday?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next are claims. 2A is approval of the claims process through November 15th, 2022.
I move approval of the claims.
Second.
Motion is second to approve the claims. Call the roll.
Flowerday?
Yes.
Amundsen?
Yes.
Yoakum?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is approval of a claim to Clyde Malone Community Center in the amount of $2,565.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion second to approve the claim to the Malone Center. Call the roll.
Yoakum?
Yes.
Flowerday?
Yes.
Amundsen?
Yes.
Shore?
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next are consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there's an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items are approval of Amendment to County Contract C-21-724 with Vigilant Solutions LLC for mobile license plate reader system and software licenses. Right-of-way contract with Gary J. and Carol M. Masick, Northwest 56th Street and West Rock Creek Road, in about $775.
Good morning, Mr. Eichhold.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Spike Eichhold. I'm with the ACLU of Nebraska. My business address is 134 South 13th Street, Suite 1010. I'm testifying on consent item 3A, the Vigilant Solution renewal or extension of the contract. I'm not speaking on the right-of-way issue. You may recall last fall when this original contract was before the county board, we appeared, I think I submitted a letter, and then we also appeared and we expressed concerns with the original version of the contract, which allowed for two things. It allowed for license plate reader information to be captured by Vigilant, and it also seemingly allowed for facial recognition technology to be implemented. To the board's credit, and we appreciate that, the contract was amended to take all of the references to facial recognition technology out. The board also directed, and your county attorney did also amend the contract to explicitly provide that whatever the county agreed to with respect to license plate reader information and data collected pursuant to that device or those devices be consistent with the state law that was passed in 2018. When I saw this, I apologize for sending this late. I didn't see the agenda until this morning early, but when I saw that, I forwarded to the board two news articles. One was a news article from, I think, September or October 2021, written by the Lincoln Journal-Star, that interviews the Lancaster County sheriffs and talked to them about their use of the license plate reader system pursuant to the contract that you have before you now that you're being asked to extend it. And I think it's fair to say that the sheriff's office disagrees with perhaps the state law, is perhaps in disagreement with the terms of this contract as agreed to by the board and Vigilant. And it appears to me that there's a willingness or a desire or an effort by the Lancaster County Sheriff to either disregard the license plate reader law, either because of their misunderstanding of it or their disagreement with it. I mention that because when you were asked to approve the original contract, it was for a trial period with Vigilant for 1 year. And now you're being asked to extend it for another year at the cost of up to $25,000. We would encourage you not to extend that. All other terms of the contract will remain the same, with the exception of the extended 1 year, and the county would be liable for up to $25,000. I think now that we're close to the year trial period, the county board should ask, what have we gained? When you read the article in the Journal Star, and when law enforcement's asked about this, they always give the example, well, if there's a kidnapped child, we can use this to find them. I don't know that we've had that instance happen. There was an instance where somebody was in Grand Island that was committed a series of crimes, but apparently they did use this information to help, although it's not quite clear exactly what role that played. So I would ask the county board to question the sheriff as to how has this worked? How is it beneficial? If you look at the original contract, page 5 of the contract explicitly states that all information collected by the vigilant devices belongs to Vigilant. State law limits what law enforcement can do with it and only can keep it for up to 6 months. State law does not impact what the provider of this technology can do with it, and they probably can't because it's probably in a matter of interstate commerce and the federal government probably has to regulate that area. But the contract explicitly states that the information that's retained by Vigilant belongs to Vigilant. They can share it with their other clients. They might be able to sell it. They might be able to do something with it. And I would submit, and this is my own opinion, I'm not an expert in this, but I think there's value in this information. The way that the cameras work, it's not a live camera stream. It's not necessarily looking for specific plates. It collects all license plate data of every vehicle traveling throughout Lancaster County that interacts with whatever the cameras are, either mounted on the cars or at a stoplight or wherever they happen to be mounted. That information is uploaded by Vigilant. At the request of Lancaster County Sheriff, they can pull certain information based on license plate numbers that are given or requested, but Vigilant harvests all this data and keeps it. There is value in that, and I mention that because just yesterday, the state of Nebraska, along with I think 39 other states, entered into a settlement with Google, in which Google acknowledged or somehow agreed to pay these Nebraskans $12 million because Google and their app services and some of the company itself was actually collecting information unbeknownst to the users regarding their travel information. So I don't think it's a paranoid sentiment to say what you are being asked to do is to facilitate this tech company to collect this information. And you're doing so, and the concern that we have, through sort of the rubric of law enforcement surveillance on the people of the county. We would urge you not to extend the contract, at least until you have some sort of sense, if you will, as to what the county is benefiting from it. And I don't know if you look at the Journal Star article, all I could glean from it is that the sheriff's office is in disagreement with the constraints of the contract and the constraints of the law. And I don't really know if you've really got an accurate sense of the utility of this contract, and we would encourage you to not renew it.
So procedurally, we need to move this off of consent to new business? Okay, I'll make that motion, just because we can't even do anything or talk about it until then.
Second.
I do second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to remove a consent item A from the consent items. Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes,
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
move approval of consent item B, 'cause that's all that's left.
Second.
Okay, motion is second to approve consent item B. Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes,
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Should we discuss the future of consent, former consent item A? We can have additional discussion today, or move it to Thursday and invite the sheriff and possibly members of the county attorney's office there for a more in-depth discussion.
I think that's great. All I was going to do was just do that, was make that motion, so it's great.
So this would have to be postponed to another regular meeting for action. I can set a separate staff meeting item for discussion.
Okay.
Okay?
Now, just on that, I don't know, I guess, are we on to new business or are we on to old business? What do you want to do? I'm good with all of it.
You're at this item.
Okay.
Okay.
We're talking about it.
All right, that
Okay.
works. Fine.
Okay.
My understanding was, when we did this last fall, we got in compliance with the state law, we took the facial designation out of it. I thought we had a big talk about Vigilant not keeping the information past the state law time frame, didn't we? Like, am I making this up?
Like 30 days? I thought it was 30 days.
I couldn't tell you the time frame. I remember that there was a time period that they would keep it, and I thought we had it removed from the contract, that they weren't keeping it in perpetuity. Does that ring any bells for anybody?
Candace, do
This
you?
is why we need more
I
information.
don't dislike this technology. I actually think it has a lot of value. I just don't want Vigilant to be
Yeah,
storing it for
I don't know if we have the
And
players,
certainly don't want them
players in the
reselling it.
room or the information we need, but John?
Yeah, Commissioner Flowerday, I don't specifically recall that conversation about whether Vigilant could keep this information in perpetuity, but we did, again, say, to echo some of Mr. Eicholt's comments, that there was going to be compliance with the Automatic License Plate Reader Privacy Act, and again, this new amendment changes none of those obligations. Those are still in place, and I'd have to look back at the old contract to decide on the retention on Vigilance side. But as far as LSO, the retaining schedule would be in compliance with state law.
Okay, all right.
And we're only seeing the amendment. We don't have access at this point in time to the full contract.
So what, bump the item to next Tuesday, and then we'll talk about it on
You're a
Thursday?
little late.
No,
Or talk about it, no, that doesn't work, because the next staff meeting, yeah, we have.
yeah, that'd be all right.
Yes, we have staff
Yeah,
meetings.
yeah. I'm just,
Yeah.
Okay.
enough of them got moved around. Yeah, okay.
And we'll notify you of the time if you'd like to set in.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. So that was just at the direction of the board. We did not need a motion.
We want a motion for postponing this item.
Okay,
I move we postpone the item 1 week.
Second,
a week. Okay. All right, call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson,
yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
Okay. Old business.
Next is number four, old business, resolution in matter of amending Article 1, Section 6 of the Lincoln Lancaster County Air Pollution Control Program Regulations and Standards.
The health department has requested more time on this one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make a motion. We weren't given a specific date. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion that we postpone this until the meeting on December 13th.
Okay, I'm, second that.
Motion is second to postpone this item until December 13th, which is a Tuesday. Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Second for, yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
There we go.
Next is number 5, a public hearing. This is for vacation of the right-of-way of Southwest 86th Street between West Saltillo Road and West Bennett Road in Lancaster County. Do you solemnly swear from the testimony you ought to give us the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, we will open the public hearing on this vacation.
Good morning. I'm Candace Behrens from the Lancaster County Attorney's Office. I think I'll kind of get some things into the record and set the issue before you, before anyone else gets up and gets more in detail. So today we're having a public hearing on this road, which is Southwest 86th Street. And it's depicted here in red. Southwest 86th Street, the north road up here is Saltillo, and this is West Bennett. To the west is the owners of the property are the National Audubon Society, and to the east is Klaus Hartman, owner of the property to the east of the road. So back in 2008, in resolution, if I can find it, resolution 080102, the county board vacated this road, the road part, and retained all present title to and rights in the right-of-way and easements. So we happen to have title to the right-of-way in Mr. Hartman's property, on the west side of Mr. Hartman's property. So this we have a title to, okay, from Mr. Hartman. The rest of the right-of-way interest that we own is statutory easement interest, okay? So we kept our right in the right-of-way, or right to the right-of-way, and we retained an ability to reopen the road without the payment of damages to the landowners if we want to reopen it someday. And then there were a number of conditions that the landowners needed to fulfill that may or may not be applicable today, but such things as putting fences on each end of the road to prevent public travel. Unfortunately, this is what the fence looks like now.
That was the fence?
Yeah, well, that's a fence now. It appears travelers are ignoring the fence. The landowners agreed to indemnify and assume all liability for the road, meaning we're not going to maintain the road. They were to pay for any costs of it necessary for any signage the county had to do. For instance, if we needed to put signs up until those fences were built and things like that. And those conditions run with the land. So they were filed with the Register of Deeds to run with the land. So we would kind of like to clean this up by relinquishing our interest, vacating our interest in whatever interest we have in the right-of-way, present title and easement. And the intent of the board, or the intent here, and what I would be asking of the board, is to vacate that right-of-way and easements, to have the ownership of the right-of-way revert to the adjacent landowners on either side. Now, just like any other section line, because this is a section line, and I think that's why people, it was kind of a big deal in 2008. So just like any other section line, we have the ability to reopen it, or you have the ability to open a road. That statute does allow landowners to receive damages for, taking their property and making it a road. What I would ask you to consider is, as a condition of this vacation, then the landowners would waive their right and ability to receive damages. The theory being, back in the day when the road was reopened, those damages were paid to landowners. So we would, that's something I would ask you to consider. You don't have to go with that, obviously. So let me make sure. So we've got photographs in the record. I will put this, the map in the record, and the previous resolution, 080102. Engineering has prepared a report that I would also put into the record and ask the board to review. The engineering does note several drainage structures that are applicable to this part of the property that we are vacating, and the recommendation is for them to be relinquished and revert to the landowners. So if the drainage structure is on that particular landowner's land, then they're responsible for maintaining it here henceforth. So we've got the report from engineering. The report from planning is an email stating that the 2008 report, in which planning did not object to the vacation of the road in the first place, is still in effect today, still good today. So he's reviewed it, okay? And that planning report is attached to the 2008 resolution. So also the adjacent landowners, Mr. Hartman and the Audubon Society, have been provided notice of this public hearing today by certified mail, and the clerk has indicated to me that the certified mail return receipts have been received by the clerk's office. So I would put what they were provided in terms of notice, and the notice was also published in the newspaper according to statute. 3 consecutive weeks on the same day each week. It was the requirement. And I think that's all I have by way of putting things into the record. I'll make sure Mr. Nolte has those copies. Also, I guess I will put in the deed that gave us fee simple interest in a portion of that right-of-way that is on the west side of Mr. Hartman's property. So I'll put that in the record as well. And that's all I have to say today for that.
A question, I was here in 2008 and you weren't, so this is somewhat unfair. But why, what was the intention, do you think, of the green line to retain that component at the time of a vacation?
When we retained the right-of-way,
Yeah,
I think it was access.
okay.
In the event the county needed to go in there, and one of the requirements too was that they maintain this road in such a way that still emergency vehicles could have access and that kind of thing. And I think the engineers here also, she may be able to, if I'm wrong, but I think it was just
Okay.
so that we have some access.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Any other questions? All right. I'm seeing none. Is there anyone else wishing to provide testimony on this item? No? Okay. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing and hold this item over for 1 week. On to new business, please.
6A is a resolution in matter of request to vacate the east-west alley between Lincoln Street and Showers Street, Block 8, Cheney, Lancaster County, Nebraska.
All right. Any comments? Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the resolution.
Second?
Okay, motion, a second to approve the vacation. Call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. B is a resolution in matter of authorizing the county clerk to issue payments while the county board is adjourned.
Move approval?
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. C is an agreement for the Lancaster County Department of Corrections to participate in a Department of Defense Career Skills Program with Army Specialist Preston Saccone. There is no cost to the county.
Brad Johnson, Director, Lancaster County Department of Corrections. So this has to do with, I believe it's somebody that's in the Army working down in Leavenworth who is working on getting his discharged. I've never seen this before, but apparently this is part of their training where they can kind of go and do what he's calling an internship. So he reached out to us because he's interested in doing that with our department. And then what he's expressed to us is once he is discharged from his service, which I think is later this year, he would then, as long as he likes what he sees, he would then come back and apply for a full-time position. So this is something that has to be, we have to sign off saying that we're willing to do and the terms and conditions and so forth. So we had to bring that before you to get that done.
How do you feel about it?
I think it's a good opportunity. I'd love to draw more folks from the military, and in particular folks that worked in the prison. I mean, they're already doing the work, so I mean, it's a, to me, it's a no-brainer. Give them a chance. What it really pertains, how we do this is it turns into like job shadowing. So he'll come up and shadow officers in the different areas of the jail and go through a little bit of training and learn our policies and stuff. And
They learn the job
yeah,
before we ever have to.
right.
Yeah. And I have toured Fort Leavenworth Jail, and I tell you, they have some pretty tough folks in there.
Oh, yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Move approval.
Yeah, second.
All right. Motion and a second. Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. 6D is a recommendation from the Southeast Nebraska Development District to award a contract through the Lancaster County Owner-Occupied Rehabilitation Housing Program for project number 014 to Comfort Techs in the amount of $2,200 to remove and replace a unit in the home to provide heating and cooling.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning. Nice to see you folks again. Thanks for getting me squeezed in on the agenda here. This is pretty quick and simple. this homeowner has had no heat for about a month now. And it's getting colder every day. So I really appreciate you squeezing this in to get this going for this homeowner. The mini split unit is actually a PTAC unit, and it's about $1,300 cheaper to get it installed than what I had anticipated, which is great. That'll save her some extra funds, hopefully get her a new water heater as well. But yep, it's just going to be a simple contract to go in, remove and replace the unit, make sure everything functions correctly. The house will be heated this winter and cooled next summer. So it's pretty straightforward, nothing too special with this one.
Move approval.
Second.
And the home is where, I mean, just what community? I don't need an address.
It's in Bennett, so,
Bennett, okay.
and we actually have another applicant in Bennett that's about ready for an inspection, so hopefully we'll be able to get those bid around, so. I won't eat up too much of your time, but I'll give you a quick update and let you know that we've kind of pumped the brakes for this winter. We're only kind of doing more emergency stuff right now. We've had some staff overturn, and so me and one other person have been managing the 23 programs that we have ongoing, and so we have a new hire starting this Monday, so once he gets started, we'll start taking him out and get him trained up, and then hopefully this spring we'll have bid requests go out and get those back and get the work going this summer and get a lot of things taken care of. So
Sure, during
that's our
construction
goal.
season, but it's nice to know that you're available for emergencies. I can't imagine spending a Nebraska winter without heat, so.
Yeah, no,
That's what these
absolutely
funds are
not.
used for. Is there a motion?
No.
Oh, we did, okay. Call the roll.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
thank you.
All right, thanks, folks. Take care.
Next is number 7, public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on agenda may do so at this time.
Is there anyone wishing to make public comment? Seeing no one, Mr. Clerk, if you would continue with the announcements.
The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will attend a tri-county meeting with Douglas and Sarpy counties on Wednesday, November 16, 2022, at 9 a.m. at Werner Park and Papillion. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, November 17th, 2022, at 8:30 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022, at 9 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV. Link TV is available on Allo Channel 2 and Spectrum Channel 1300. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on YouTube and Facebook. Link TV apps are also available on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
Move that we adjourn.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0.
All right, we are adjourned and will now call to order the meeting of the Lancaster County Board of Equalization for Tuesday, November 15th. Mr. Clerk.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available for electronic viewing from the county clerk's staff. Printing options are available upon request. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approve the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, November 1st, 2022.
Move approval.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 2 are additions and deductions to the tax assessment rolls.
Move approval of the additions and deductions.
Second.
All right. Call the roll, please.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Number 3 is notice of assessed valuation change for property taxation purposes. This is for Stormasters Funding 21 LLC.
Good morning, Scott Gaines, Deputy Assessor, Register Deeds. This is a property where a new car wash went up. The improvement on that property is owned by a different owner than the land, so they requested to have the improvement valued separately. We did that. We just failed to remove the improvement from the land account, so this will remove that improvement so that it's not doubled up.
Clerical error.
Move approval of the assessed valuation change.
Second.
All right, call the roll, please.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0. Next is number 4, public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business, not on agenda, may do so at this time.
Is there anyone wishing to make public comment? Seeing no one, is there a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Second?
Call the roll, please.
Amundson,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Shore.
Yes,
Motion carries 4-0.
we are adjourned. Thank you.